Thokozani Khupe has revealed that the MDC T received assistance from the state through judicial and parliamentary processes in their fight to destroy the Chamisa-led MDC alliance. This would seem to confirm the long-held belief that the state is sponsoring turbulences in the opposition party. Khupe and her former ally, Douglas Mnangagwa, have crossed paths with the former Deputy Prime Minister and Mnangagwa legislator on Friday, announcing she had taken over leadership of the party in an acting capacity. She charged Mnangagwa had expelled himself from the opposition party by writing to the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission (ZEC) on January 3, declaring that he was the leader of the MDC alliance. Khupe made the statements during a press conference held in Bulawayo on Friday. Mnangagwa had the previous day pulled out and flagged a suspension letter that he said he had handed to Khupe over a week before. The letter states that Khupe had been suspended for transgressions including unholy alliances with perceived enemies and sabotaging party programs. In her visibly emotional address to the press on Friday, Khupe unwittingly disclosed that the MDC T enjoyed the backing of government-sponsored processes in the fight against Chamisa's MDC alliance. She was appealing to the state not to interfere in her current fight with Mnangagwa. I would like to conclude by emphasizing that today, the 21st day of January 2022, the MDC T has two formations, Khupe said. I am therefore pleading with other political parties. As the MDC T, I am calling on Parliament, a legislative organ of the state, to desist from taking sides as well as local government. It happened before, and it must not happen again. At the same time, I am calling on the Ministry of Justice to be fair and just in dealing with our matter. Mnangagwa and Khupe have long faced accusations of being strange bedfellows with Mnangagwa's ZANU-PF. On June 11, 2021, Mnangagwa met with Mnangagwa at State House, where he reportedly sought to push for the scrapping of by-elections now scheduled for March 26. They met again under suspicious circumstances on January 6, soon after the president proclaimed the by-election date. Mnangagwa was given funds under the Political Parties Finance Act, despite a court order barring the disbursement of such funds before the challenge by the MDC alliance was concluded, a development that seemed to confirm MDC T and ZANU-PF had a special spot for each other. Mnangagwa has so far received millions of dollars under the fund. He has also enjoyed favorable publicity in the state media, something that has been unheard of for any opposition party. Mnangagwa has also declared his recognition of President Emmerson Mnangagwa's leadership, with his official, Morgan Femi, describing the president as the best. Mnangagwa described Mnangagwa an illegitimate leader when he was still MDC Alliance Secretary General. MDC Alliance leader, Nelson Chamisa, has refused to recognize Mnangagwa as a legitimate president. Suspicion that the MDC T was working with ZANU-PF to influence judiciary processes swirled when Mnangagwa and MDC T chairman Morgan Khupe in March 2020 read a prepared speech soon after the Supreme Court ruled that Chamisa was not the bona fide leader of the MDC T. The development raised questions on the independence of the judiciary, with many asking how Mnangagwa and Khupe knew that the ruling would be in their favor and brought a prepared speech to the court. The courts later made several more rulings in favor of Khupe and Mnangagwa, which the opposition complained about. In another curious scenario, Mnangagwa took over the Morgan Richard Tsvangirai party offices from the MDC alliance with the help of the army and the police. Chamisa's MDC alliance has since been barred from accessing the party offices, which have literally been guarded day and night by police and soldiers. Last week too, a leaked audio went viral with Khupe disclosing that Mnangagwa was working with ZANU-PF. Khupe also revealed in the audio that Mnangagwa had treacherously ascended to power in the 2020 Extraordinary Congress, whose results were disputed by Khupe. But yesterday, Khupe's spokesperson Tandon Ndlovu denied the allegations that Khupe had let the cat out of the bag by claiming the MDC T was getting favors from Mnangagwa. He said Khupe was in fact a victim of a partial parliament which favored Chamisa at her expense. The Parliament and Justice Ministry should not side with Mnangagwa as they did with Chamisa against Dr. Khupe in 2018 when she was recalled, Ndlovu said. The Parliament has not been fair on how it dealt with the dispute between Dr. Khupe and Chamisa. In 2018, Parliament dismissed her letter in which she had notified it to stop considering Chamisa's intention to recall her, and she was subsequently recalled. The Justice Ministry also went on to allocate funds under the Political Parties Finance Act to Chamisa after she had advised that the party did not qualify for the funds. That is the partiality that she was referring to, and that it must not happen again in this case. Dottie said Khupe was referring to Chamisa when she said other parties should not interfere in her dispute with Mnangagwa, although suspicion was rife that she was referring to President Emmerson Mnangagwa. Political analyst and the late Tsvangirai's former advisor Alex Magesa said the Mnangagwa-Khupe dispute marked the collapse of a judicially reconstructed party. This circus is a new nadir for the small pseudo-opposition party which owes its existence to a controversial act of judicial reconstruction in March 2020, Magesa said. In March 2020, the Supreme Court ruled Chamisa was not the legitimate leader of the MDC. Khupe had approached the High Court in the fight for the MDC and she won her case, leading to Chamisa's appeal at the Supreme Court. Khupe was voted in as MDC-T's deputy president in 2014, but years later, Tsvangirai appointed Chamisa and Mitsuri as his additional deputies. She argued that this was in contravention of the party's constitution and that in fact she should have assumed leadership of the party when Tsvangirai died. The political partnership between Mnangagwa and Khupe has long been a marriage of convenience fortified solely by a jointly held contempt toward Chamisa. For Chamisa and the MDC alliance, the scene of their opponents' bloodletting without provocation must be sweet news, Magesa wrote. In a viral leaked telephone conversation between Khupe and a party youth, only identified as Nira from Chigutu, Khupe trashed Mnangagwa's claim to legitimacy. Therefore, we boycotted the elective Congress, after the second provinces had voted. So, it was not a Congress at all. That was one of the bogus things that we did come across. Those results were just announced by one group of people who did all the counting and everything. So, they announced what they wanted as we had withdrawn from participation, Khupe said.